All right, so here we are on chapter 6. I don't know why I make these comments or do this. I should probably just post the slideshows, but I guess I'll keep at it. Anyway, sexual behaviors and experiencing sexual pleasure. So, um, if we were in class right now during this lecture, I typically randomly hand out these questions for people to answer. And of course, right? Because one of the goals about this class for me is to get people comfortable talking about sex. Uh, it's a very, it's an extremely important topic to most people, and one that they don't want to talk about, and especially some of these things in this class, but in this section too. So you may feel lucky that that it's online now because we're not doing any of these things. So, but I'll just read you a couple of questions, um, just so you get an idea of what we would do. So, right. So one is, do you think you would ever practice mutual masturbation? Meaning you and your partner masturbate together, all right, at the same time. Let's see what else we got here. How would you introduce the subject of masturbation to your children? I'm guessing your parent, more than likely, none of your parents introduced the subject of masturbation to you. Why are people so threatened by masturbation? A lot about masturbation. Let's see what else we can got here. I guess those are the big ones. No, yeah, seemed to be my topic last semester. Do you think everybody should masturbate? What are the pros and cons of teaching about masturbation in school? Not teaching how you do it, rather than teaching as normal and a safe alternative to other types of sex. You're not going to get an STI from masturbation. You're not going to end up with a child from masturbation, typically. Right? And then, of course, the famous question I ask about all of this stuff is, where do you get your information? And how do you think, why do you think, or how do you know that the facts you believe are truly facts? All right, so just that, there's more. And so, I don't know, you may be grateful that you're not standing up in the class answering this question. But maybe not. Anyway, we're going to talk about that. So that's sexual pleasures, right? 50 Shades of Grey. We have, like all sexual topics, we're a very long continuum of where people are comfortable. Sorry, I'm trying to move. Where people are comfortable on the scale of talking about sex, being involved in sex, what you're willing to do and what you're not willing to do, what kind of experimentation you would partake in, etc. Right? There's a huge continuum of where people are. Anyway, so I'm going to bring up the slides and we'll start there and see where it goes. So let me see if I can find them. There we go. Chapter 6. Sexual behaviors and experiencing sexual pleasure. Lovemaking for most of us is pleasurable. If you're doing it well, then it is pleasurable. Often, if we're not, it cannot be pleasurable for one partner or another or both. So here's our learning objectives, right? Comfort levels. How are we talking about? How are you comfortable? Are you with these topics? Mainstream sexual behaviors, sex and how risk of sexually transmitted diseases. Of course, we'll have a whole chapter devoted to sexually transmitted infections and diseases. The positive and negative effects of sexual fantasies, what that means. Historical attitudes about masturbation. And then, how our erotica can play out. And how does our sex life play out? and then different types of sexual activities and how you know, what you think about them, how risky are they for sexually transmitted diseases, right? Anal sex, a topic very few people, feel comfortable about. The different positions, how you play, how you have intercourse. So here's a article. Masturbation will be the death of you. It'll make you go blind. It'll make you, for men, it'll make you grow hair on your palms. Like that, where there used to be stuff, right? Oh, that's funny. So this is Dr. Walling, right? He's one of the author, right? Oh, your measure of sexual comfort. So in the book, I don't know if it's in the book. I guess it must be. But if not, I put the survey of, let me see. Oh, it's on table 6.1. No, I didn't even look inside the book. I just have all my notes and stuff here. Anyway, I posted it in the assignments. If you go to the assignments, I can't do that now. If you go to the assignments, you'll see it. It's not worth any credit. It's not worth anything. It's just an opportunity for you to learn about yourself and how you are, what your opinions are, and expand on your opinions, learn them and change them, whatever the case may be. Right, on your opinions about different sexual topics. And then the self, right? Okay. So it is in, what's going on here? There we go. You can see, you can read up about it in the book and take it for yourself, right? So solitary sexual behaviors, right? Fantasies and masturbation, and then of course shared sexual behaviors, which are sex with another human being, or for the most part, we'll stick with human beings. Okay, so there's two ways: solitary or shared sexual behaviors. So sexual fantasies, of course, I don't know I've never run across anybody that doesn't have sexual fantasies. I was a therapist for a long time, and that's just the way it is. For the most part, they're extremely healthy. We can have fantasies that we never act out on, or we could have fantasies that we would like to share with our mates or partners and see where that goes. Then there, unfortunately, are fantasies that make us feel bad, right? Like I said, we don't have to act out on every fantasy. But people, so a man who's heterosexual and fantasizes about having sex with a man, it causes a very conflict, right? Internal conflict, emotional conflict, psychiatric conflict, psychological conflict, discovery. So fantasies can work for us and against us, depending on how we deal with them, just like anything else, right? So we may feel they're wrong, we may feel they're immoral, or there's something we want to try. And then we seek out a partner to try that with, or it's something we try out in a solitary. There is a lot of different types of solitary masturbation techniques, etc. Anyway, that's the issue with just like everything else, there's a plus and minus side to fantasies. And here's a little table about it. And then how do men and women differ in their sexual fantasies, or do they? So, of course, for the most part, actually, we're pretty damn close. According to most data, like it's not all that different. The one place you see more is being rescued by a future lover. Of course, is higher in women. Getting married is higher in women. Sex with a stranger is higher with men. Two or more lovers at a time is higher with men, and of course, sex with a virgin is extremely higher with men. Homosexual fantasies are higher with women. So, but for a lot of it, if you see, it's very close. Fantasy versus reality. So how do you use your fantasies to improve your sex life, right? And one of that ways is to, if you're really interested in that, is finding a partner that is willing to experiment with you or carry on that kind of behavior, whatever behavior it is that you're fantasizing about, right? Of course, almost everything can be done online, right? But this is also about self-discovery, really, like what really excites you sexually. Um, uh, uh, learning because most people think they know, and they really just don't know about sex. Like it is, it is amazing how little people really know about sex for the most part. And how to enjoy it, how to, play with it. Although now, of course, it's much more wide open because of the internet, right? And learning and watching pornography and those kind of things. Oh, that wasn't good. Let me see. Sorry about that. Let me see. Sorry. There we go. All right, so I did this already. Sorry about that. Right. So sexual research, I asked last time, what on the discussion topic is, how willing would you be to participate in sexual research, right? Self-reporting sexual information, right? And how we change attitudes? How do we change behavior? How do we understand behavior more, right? So, and there's actually here a table about the benefits of masturbation. Um, and whether you want to admit it or not, most people masturbate or have masturbated, and it's a practice that could be, go on a lifetime practice, whether you have a partner or not. So when you talk about whether you have a partner, when you mutual masturbation, things like that. How do you do this? What is it about? What is your fantasizing about? What are you thinking about? And different, lots of different methods, as I mentioned before. And then, of course, how do we have sex with our partner? Like, what is it that we do for them? How do we touch each other, kissing? How do we approach erotic behavior? All these things to heighten the enjoyment of sex, right? To make sex the most enjoyable act it can be for each person at that time. Oral sex, right? All these different things, right? Some yes, some no. And certainly it is a way. It does certainly can transmit an STI through oral sex. Anal intercourse, stimulation of the anal, like topics that people do not want to talk about, or feel they are wrong. They could be fantasizing about it, and that's one of those fantasies that causes the dichotomy inside a person, that they don't know how to behave or what to do. And oftentimes, because of poor communication with partners or self, this becomes either could be something that works out or something that could cause a lot of frustration in a relationship. And then, of course, there are many different ways to have coitus. This is a list of how many times people have sex in a year, a week, right? So you can take a look at that and see where you stand or don't stand. And that's it for chapter 6. Although that is a lifelong topic, I think. Let me see. Let me get out of here. All right, this is a lifelong learning experience because we all change and we all grow, and we need to be able to adapt to new thoughts, new behaviors, new ideas. Sorry, trying to get out of the reflection. Anyway, this is a couldn't be a very self-revealing chapter. This could be something that could really help you learn about yourself and then be able to utilize that information to have the best sexual experiences you can. So it's up to you what's going to happen. And just like everything else, what are you going to do with the information? All right. See you next time.